What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Pro TV, and today I'm finally giving you guys the Galaxy Note 8 review, my review, okay? Not everybody's review is the same, not everybody covers the same thing. A lot of them are pretty, by the numbers, My intent for these reviews is to give you day-to-day usage, what to expect on a day-to-day, what do you use on a day-to-day, what do you need on a day-to-day, so let's get to it. And the whole topic of my video is going to be, who's this phone made to? Who is it meant for? Is this phone meant for every consumer out there, or is there a certain consumer out there that this phone is meant for? And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's different tiers of phones. And if you don't know that by now in 2017, then I don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? If you live in a Galaxy iPhone world, there's a bigger world out there. You know what I mean? Since 2008, I've been carrying around Android phones, and I've been consistent to certain brands, and I've stuck with certain brands. I've stuck with the ones that I know and that work best for me, and that I've tried out and I've ventured out and tried new ones. Whether I've liked it or not, that's a different story. You know what I mean? I always seem to come back to HTC. I always seem to come back to the OnePlus. Ever since the first one came out, I always seem to come back to the Nexus line. Ever since, let's just say since the Nexus 6. Actually, no, I had a Nexus before that, the Galaxy Nexus. I've always wanted these phones, but for some reason, the providers I was on at the time, they didn't have it. So now that I'm in a more open provider and I can use and get all these unlocked international phones, that's something else you as a consumer might want to know. Okay, are you stuck in Verizon or Sprint where you can only use a certain amount of phones and the ones that they give you and that's it? Or are you in an unlocked kind of world where, I don't like the phones you guys have on display. I'm going to jump on Amazon and I'm going to look for this phone, or I'm going to see what they have out there, and eBay, wherever, there's reviews, there's so many things that you can read and be like, okay, well, this phone sounds like it's good, let me try it out. And guess what? You don't have to spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, every phone is meant for somebody different. There's different tiers. There's the budget cheap tier. There's a medium tier, like a mid-range. There's a premium, and then I think there's a tier above that. And not because I'm a Samsung fanboy, not because nothing. It's just my personal opinion, and that's where I think the Note 8 is in a tier of its own. I don't think anybody's done the stylus like the same as them. I don't think they've brought out a device like it. Nobody has. And ever since the first one came out, where everybody was like, the size is too big, this, that, and that, eventually I felt like we were going to go into a bigger size. I think we might jump up in a few years, but then again, it might come back down. Who knows how big these screens are going to get. Me personally, 5.5 inches to 5.7, 5.2 is kind of small, but I used to think that was the sweet spot, but I think 5.5 is the sweet spot. So like I said, who is this phone meant for? Okay, there's so many different phones out there for so many different people, so many different lifestyles. Who is this one meant for? Okay, what I'm going to cover is its performance, its look and feel, battery, and its camera, because I think that regardless of what kind of phone you're looking for, those are four very important key features in any phone that you get. What's the performance like? The performance on this phone has been amazing. It's been great. It's been very responsive. It hasn't lagged. You see what is lagging in a world like today, right? 3-4 years ago, people would jump on a Samsung phone and know what lag is. You know what I mean? People nowadays can jump on a Galaxy, on an HTC, on any kind of phone, and not necessarily experience lag. I've seen my fair share of iPhones that lag. People don't talk about that shit, but it's true. You know what I mean? There's a slight stutter to when it opens an app. If the app is too heavy, guess what? It's gonna take its second or two or 5 or 10. It don't fucking matter. These phones aren't out here to be the zippiest of the zippiest. You know, they're that's what it does. You know what I mean? If I'm holding this phone and I'm like, you know what? It's fast for me. I have a OnePlus 5. That's the fastest phone out there. You know what I mean? But does it compare to this one? Yeah, these are battling head to head as far as performance and speed, because I think, like I said, everyday tasks, everyday things you do, you don't notice any of that stuff. You just go with it. You know what I mean? So the performance on this, I have all these apps open, and it's ridiculously fast. Can't see, sorry. It's fast, okay? This thing has not stuttered yet. I love where Samsung's going with this. They're doing a good job as far as, you know, the performance. The UI has been friendlier, because back in the day, we all know that the Samsung UI was garbage. Slowed the phone down way too much. It was just garbage. The UI now is perfect. It's got a theme store, so if you don't like, this is normally white. The menu up here is normally white. If you don't like that, change it to black, change it to blue, change it to whatever you want. They have so many ways of you customizing it. You can download a launcher. You know, you don't have to have your phone look just like everybody else's. So the UI, I think it's user friendly because you can do whatever you want. Let's talk about look and feel. I think look and feel is very important. And the only reason why I say that is because when I first saw the size, I kind of said to myself, do I really want something that big? My wife likes big phones. She's, you know, that's what some people like. You know, some people like a big screen. Some people like a medium screen. Some people like an iPhone SE screen. You know what I mean? Stuck back in the 4-inch days, you know, 3.5 days, you know. There's a different user out there for everybody. The look and feel of this phone, I mean, obviously gorgeous. It's a gorgeous design. The screen is beautiful. I mean, there's a one-handed use on here. If you think it's too big, there's a one-handed use that you can put on and, you know, use it if you're driving or I mean, obviously you're not supposed to use your phone when you drive, but I'm just saying everybody does it. But if you're driving and you can't reach across and you have to readjust yourself, do a one-handed mode, you're good to go. It's very user-friendly. If you think it's too big, it'll help you out. You know what I mean? A lot of people want to buy a big screen to watch videos anyways, to be looking at Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. Reading a long article, you know what I mean? You have more real estate to put that article on. So the look and feel of this, I really give it a thumbs up because it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous device. Gorgeous device. The battery. I covered the battery about a week ago, or last week or whatever, and honestly, so I'm the type of person, like I said before, I'm the type of person I'm so used to jumping in the car, plugging it in. Okay? If, like I said, I think I've said it before, if you have a 9-to-5 job, you get up in the morning, you eat your breakfast, you roll out, go to work, go to school, come back by 5, 5:36. If you commute, on the way back, you might plug in your phone because you're listening to music. It's just common things that we do on a day-to-day basis that we don't even think about no more because, you know, not all cameras, I'm sorry, not all batteries are the same, you know. You think you have a 4,000 milliamp battery and it's going to last you for 2 days. In all actuality, it all depends on how much you use the phone, you know. If, like I said, if you have a 9-to-5 job and you're just strolling to work, strolling back, whatever, this phone will last you till the next morning. If you're the type of person that gets up, goes to the gym, comes back, gets ready, goes to work, gets off of work, goes here, goes there, you have a busy, it depends on your lifestyle. If you're a person that commutes to work, rides public transportation, you're probably going to be on the phone, listening to music, on Instagram, on internet, sending an email, whatever. So for those kind of people, get an extra charger, get a battery pack, carry it with you, because you are going to need it. I mean, that's just basically with any phone. I see people with iPhones plugging their phones in. I see everybody just, by the end of the day, there is no actual battery out there that I've tested that I can truly say, okay, this phone lasts completely all day. I can get up at 4:30 in the morning. I can come home at midnight because I don't know what I was doing that day or whatever, and I forgot my charger. More than likely, if I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning and I'm not plugging it in, by 10 o'clock, it's probably going to be at 10%. You might be right here trickling on fucking trying to make your battery last a couple of, minutes extra or whatever, power saving modes, this and that. Depending on your lifestyle, I would always carry around an extra, a charger, get a charger for your car, get a battery pack, depending on your lifestyle. It's a good battery, but it's not the greatest battery. I don't think there is a great battery out there that you can just, it just all depends on what kind of user you are. If you're a heavy user, if you're a light user, whatever, you should judge what you use your phone and see how much battery you're going to drain it and what you're going to use and what you're going to need and if you need a boost or not. Me, when I leave the house, I got to leave at least with 80%. If I'm at work and my phone's trickling down and it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and it's like, hey, let's go to dinner, and my phone's at 50%, 30% or something because I've been sitting there on social media or taking pictures or whatever, or using the GPS or whatever it is, I'm going to plug it in. If I know that after work I'm going somewhere, I'm going to plug it in, boost it up. Let's talk about the other thing, camera. Everybody out there wants a decent camera. Everybody's on social media posting their food pics, they're traveling here, their honey, their everything. Everybody posts, everybody has a need and a use for a good camera. This camera is one of the best cameras that I've ever used. These two cameras, they're both of them have optical image stabilization, which is great. 12 megapixel cameras. Front camera is an 8 megapixel camera, and they're both the same cameras that were on the S7 with minor software enhancements. It was on the S8, it was on the S8 Plus. Great camera. I was very, very happy when I had my S8 and I only had one camera and I'm not out here. I don't think the dual camera thing is really necessary. I think there's cameras out there like the S8, S8 Plus, S7, the HTC U11, HTC U Ultra that have one camera, and they are some of the greatest cameras that I've used that are out today. If you want that bokeh effect that everybody's going, just download an app. You don't need a secondary camera for that. If you're trying to take a wide angle picture, buy a V30, buy a V20, because that's what, if you're more interested in like taking photography to that level where you need that space, get something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying don't get this. This has a camera for everything. If you check out my Instagram, the most recent pictures on there are from my Note 8, and it takes amazing pictures. Every camera or every phone that I get, to me, that's the biggest thing. And honestly, I've jumped back to Samsung. I've had a Note 3, a Note 4, S3, like a bunch of the S6 Edge, S6 Edge Plus, S7, the 8s, the Galaxy S8, and this one. I think that's about it. And we all know that Samsung makes amazing cameras. Back then, the user interface was horrible, so it was kind of like a sacrifice that you had to make. Now, if you really want a good camera and good software and good performance, this is the thing to get right here. If you're looking at, if you're very apprehensive as far as getting it, I wouldn't be, okay? But like I said before, is this meant for you as the regular consumer? You know, I've seen people that know about photography that use pro modes, manual modes on all their cameras and tweak it to what they need, you know, to make their pictures look amazing, you know. But if you're just a point and shoot person, it doesn't matter, you know. There's plenty of good options out there if you don't want to spend the $900 some dollars. You know, there's plenty of options out there if you don't want to spend $1,000 for the new iPhone. You know what I mean? There's really good options out there. Motorola's making great cameras. OnePlus has always had good cameras. You can find so many deals on all the S8s right now. The LG G6 has an amazing camera. If you don't want to fork up $1,000 or close to $1,000, and you don't think that you need all the bells and whistles that this phone has, then this phone isn't for you. If you're just a regular user, you know, you just need a mediocre camera, you need, you know, something that has pretty good performance, you know, there's plenty of options out there for you. This thing right here is for a power user, hands down. Am I a power user? Sometimes, you know. And as an average consumer, let's talk about the stylus, and what it does and if you need it or not. The stylus does a lot of good things. This phone is jam-packed with features, okay? It has the edge screen. It has this. It has all the old school Samsung gimmicks that they had. Palm swipe. You know, you can keep, as long as you're looking at the device, it'll keep the screen on. It has all these features that for some people it's a lot. So let me give you a good example of what to use this for. Let's say you're running down the street, or you gotta go to the store and your wife's like, bring me back this, bring me back that, pull out your stylus and just write a note right on the front. You pin it, and it say you can pin it and it'll save it to your lock screen, or you can save the note in the notes. That's a very, very useful example. Another real world use that I can say is, the other day we were playing a game, we needed to write some stuff down to keep track of the score. I pulled out my Note 8 because nobody had a pen. Boom, 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 kept track of score. You know, you can do notes. You can. My favorite way of using this phone is me and my best friend send GIFs and memes back and forth. Everybody right now is doing that shit. You know what I mean? Everybody shares funny photos. Everybody, you know, whatever. Let's say you're just scrolling down on Instagram, and you see a picture you might like. Okay, so let's say you want this, right? So you click on the tray, you click on Smart Select. There's a rectangle, you guys can't really see it, my bad, but rectangle, a lasso where you can circle whatever you want, and an oval where it'll just take an oval, or a GIF, right? I usually use the rectangle, and then what I do is I just square out what I'm going to send and just send it out. That's a useful feature, I think. Very useful. You can use it. You don't have to just use it for memes. You don't just have to use it for GIFs. You can open YouTube up. Let's open YouTube up. And let's say I want to click on this video. And let's say I see something that I want to send somebody for a GIF, as a GIF. You resize it to however you want. You click on record. And it's recording and it's making a GIF for you. All you gotta do, stop. You just stop it. That's it. And you send it. You know, can you save it? You can save it. You can do whatever you want. If that's not a useful feature to you, then I don't know what is. Okay. Let's say you're traveling outside the country, and you don't know what the sign says. You're kind of lost. You're trying to figure out. Take a picture of it. Open up the tray again. click on translate, and choose the language that it is in, and that you want it to be able to read. So if you want it from German to English, for example, you're in Germany and you don't know what it says, click on it, take a picture, click on translate, hover the pen over it, and it'll translate it for you. Simple as that. If that's not a useful feature for you, then I don't know what is. Let's say you're on a website. Let's say you're on Amazon, right? And you see this thing. You go to the tray. You click on screen write. What it'll do is take a screenshot of the whole thing and be like, and you need to write on it and be like, well, this is the case that I wanted, that I told you about. Remember this one right here? You write it. And then you're like, it's only $13, whatever. And then you send it to your mom, your cousin, whoever you're trying to send it to. Simple as that. If that's not a useful feature, I mean, I don't know what is. Everybody's talking about this live message. Do I use it? I used it the first day, and that was about it. So you click on live message, and you can make your own GIF this way too. And it'll pop out just like that. Like I said, there's plenty of things. It's a mouse. You think of it as a mouse. Let's say you want to click on a very, very specific part on the screen and you have fat fingers. You have a fucking mouse. Use it. This thing can go on and on and on. These are just the useful features that I've used it for. I use it every day to cut out text that I want, copy and paste it. I can extract. Let's say you're looking at a picture and you just want the text from the picture, extract the text, and there you go. The stylus on this thing is what makes it on a tier of its own. It's jam-packed with features such as the Edge Sense. Everybody remembers, the Galaxy Edge. This is how basic I have my phone. Things I use at the bottom: open up the Edge screen, most frequent apps, contacts. This is, like I said, I customize the phone to how I like it, what I need. There's a sports page, there's a news page. There's so many different screens. Anything that you want to use it for, it's more than likely there. One thing I forgot to mention was, and I know besides the stylus, I know everybody's like, what about that fingerprint scanner? I use the case all the time because I think this phone is gorgeous and I want to protect it as much as I can, and I know it's fragile. I don't want to drop this shit. It's too expensive to break. I want to get a skin on the back because when I put my case on, luckily it hasn't really scratched. Well, it has a few minor little scratches from dust and dirt that get caught up in the case. But this thing is gorgeous. So where is this? Like I said, if you carry a case, if you put on a case, you're gonna know exactly where that's at. Okay? It's super responsive. You're gonna know where your finger lies. Every time you pick it up and you go, you're gonna know where your finger lies. You get used to it. It's just like when it's down here and you switch from a phone that has it back here. To me, the best placement is right here in the middle because that's where your fingers lay more. It's more natural. Up here, are you gonna reach for it and see where you're gonna get used to your own phone. Okay? If you're coming from a small phone to a big phone, from big phone to a small phone, from this, that, you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna see what works best for you. I set up the iris scanner. The iris scanner is pretty fucking dope. I like it. But with Android now, you can use smart lock. So if you're at home and you don't want it locked at home, you can set it up. It saves you some time. If you're at work, you don't want nobody to touch that shit, you don't want to see nothing, then you have your own. You have your fingerprint scanner, you have your iris scanner, you have your facial unlock, you have a pattern, you have so many ways of unlocking it. Okay? So, is this phone meant for you? If everything I talked about is something that you need, then go out and get it. It's in a tier of its own. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful device. I have the HTC U and the the U11 and the U Ultra. Those were really beautiful. You know, it reminded me a lot about the S6, the S7. The S8, the black on the S8, the black on this is beautiful. I mean, there's so many different type of users out there. The ones that want basic shit, you know, social media camera, just to have a phone calls, text. There's users where you get sent documents that you have to sign. Guess what? You have a stylus. Sign it, send it back. Boom, done. You know what I mean? This phone is on a tier of its own. And I've always said the Note series is in a tier of its own. Hands down, it's the king of phones out there. And not because I'm an Android fan, not because it just has all the bells and whistles and then some. You know what I mean? Has a excuse me, waterproof, has amazing cameras, it's reliable, performance is amazing, it's got a stylus. You know, nowadays the speaker doesn't even matter. Yeah, okay, back in the day when HTC said dual speakers are the way to go, look at the direction they ended up going to. Are dual speakers better? Hell yeah, I'd rather have dual speakers. But the way that we're going right now with the edge-to-edge displays, where are they going to put dual speakers at? You see what I'm saying? So, is this the right phone for you? If you have money and you can afford to lease, to buy, to finance, whatever, I highly, highly, highly recommend this phone over anything right now. I love my OnePlus 5. I love my HTC U11s. And I've said before, the HTC U11s have amazing cameras. You can record, you can do, I mean, it has amazing cameras. If you want something cheaper, you have that option. If you don't want to cough up $1,000, $900 some dollars, if you can't afford it, don't try to bust out and try to, you know, get it if you don't need it, if you don't use it, if you can't afford it. There's so many sales right now on the S8, S8 Plus because of this coming out, that if you want something, if you think this is too big for you, get the S8. If you don't think that you use that S Pen, but you love Samsung and you love its cameras and stuff like that, but you like the size, get the S8 Plus. The S8, the Note 8 is on a tier of its own. It's a great device, great camera. The battery is what it is. Not everybody out there, not every battery out there is gonna last you a full 24 hours. You know, if you don't use it, if it just sits there, if you go to work and it just sits on your desk, you don't use it, you can't use it for work, whatever, it's gonna last you, of course, if it has a good standby time, yeah. But if you're on it, if you're on in the bus, if you get up and go to the gym, you're listening to music while you're taking a break, you go to the bathroom, you get on Instagram, whatever. If you're continuously gonna use your phone like that, it's not gonna last you 24 hours. No phone out there is gonna last you 24 hours. It might have good screen on time of 8-9 hours. That means you were on your phone. Like if you sit there and you know, that's how long it'll probably be, about 8 hours, but not, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, this has been my review of the Note 8. If you can afford it, if you want something on a tier of its own, if you want all the bells and whistles, if you want that stylus, if you want the cameras, you know, if you love Samsung, you know, get it. If you don't need the stylus, you don't need this phone. You know what I mean? Don't go out and spend $900 some for a phone that you're not going to take its full potential for, okay? You know, like I said, there's basic people out there that just want basic function phone. Stick to something like that. If you want to look cool and you can afford it, you don't really use it, you know, the stylus or whatever, get that, you know? Anyways, guys, hit me up on the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to subscribe. I know it's been a pretty long video, but I wanted to do an in-depth, day-to-day, what I use this phone for, how I use this phone. Is it useful for you? Because is this phone for you? Hit me up on the comments if you want. Subscribe. Catch you guys on the next video. I got another couple videos that I'm working on, and I'm excited for the Pixel release tomorrow, for the announcement. Very excited about that. Very excited about the V30. Hopefully I can get those two in the house and keep going with this. You know, if everything keeps going as it is, you guys will see more videos of me, and have a good one.